Alright, so we have this cute hot air balloon. This is a two-part video where the first part I'm just sketching, and then I'm going to paint it for my painting class. Draw a light circle, and then draw, a line down the center to help you with the symmetry. Now, I apologize. This was actually really light for the video. So I dropped down just below the sphere, just barely, so that I can give an ellipse for the opening of the bottom of the air balloon. And the idea is that you're standing on the ground looking up at this air balloon, so you would see a slight ellipse. We're not standing directly under it, so it's not going to be a huge ellipse. And then for the top of the basket, I'm going to mimic the same ellipse, just smaller. And then again for the bottom of the basket, same size ellipse, just shrunken down a little bit, so that those openings are the same. We don't want one to be wide and one to be shallow. And then what we're going to do is just draw those sections of the air balloon. I'm not even sure what these sections are called, but you know what I'm saying, where they sew them. So I just try again to make them symmetrical. When I finished the drawing, of course, I noticed that the top left sinks down more than the top right, and that's going to bug me forever. But what do you do? What do you do once you've inked it, right? So I'm drawing lightly, especially this is watercolor paper, and it's hard to erase and not leave marks and damage the paper, so I apologize for that. And then I'm just going to go through with my micron pen and just outline it. I like to add inking details sometimes to sketches, and then when I'm done painting, I'll add some more line work. And then I like to use a couple different tips. I think this is probably like a 0.45 or maybe a 0.35. And then I take the 0.25 to add the small details. The cast shadow of the shadow on the bottom of the basket. And then these lines, the ropes, I'm using that 0.25. And then I let the ink dry and erase it, and then you are set. Now, be careful to really let that ink dry. I think I was rushed because I was videoing and then I smudged the ink. Oh, it's so sad. Okay, I wanted to create a navy blue, so I took a phthalo, ultramarine, and some brown. Whatever brown you have really works. And the more saturated you can get that paint, the darker you can get those colors. So really I'm basically outlining with quite a bit of paint and then adding water to get those lighter values in the middle. And then I just dab a little bit of a pinky purple and let that wet just kind of pull into each other. And you saw I salted it, and I blew the extra salt off the page. And then ideally I would let this fully dry, but because I'm doing a video, I just started adding extra values where I saw it needed some more contrast. I painted below the balloon. The only problem with not waiting is sometimes messing with that salt, I don't get the same effect I want to. I did add a little bit more gray to the blue that goes on the upper inside of the balloon, and then I did want to gray down my brown just so it's a little bit more unified, and I make sure the base is darker, and then add a little bit of a highlight. By adding a highlight, I just added water to my paintbrush and just lifted some of that pigment on the basket. And then really that's it. Once it dried, I went back in and re-inked it and added some white gel pen details, shook off the salt, and this is what I got.